evening and welcome to City Focus, and I'm Marty Olson, your host. And tonight I've got a gentleman for a guest who I think you'll all find to be interesting, engaging. He's a presence in downtown New London, and he's been a real mover and a shaker, especially in the area of the arts. And I'm delighted to have with me tonight Jim Stidfole.
Marty, it's great to be here.
Well, thanks a bunch, and I think that we'll have a very lively program. And at the top, I'd like to remind you all that we're live, and if you'd like to participate in the program, please give us a call. Locally, we are at 860-440-3154, or you can reach us if you're out of the calling area locally at 800-253-2285. Just a couple of quick things I'd like to mention before I get into the interview with Jim. Today I had the opportunity to stop up at Bates Woods, where they're doing some work on the baseball field. Torello Contractors is working on some bleachers and other repairs and upgrades at the baseball field, and the Public Works Department's doing an extensive renovation on the dog pound, which is definitely needed. The pound was in very poor shape, quite frankly, and it had been hit by a tree in a storm and had been kind of taken out. So the upgrades are needed. It's being expanded a little bit, and I just wanted to give the men a job well done on what they're doing, and looking forward to the completed project. Over at the high school as well, the sports complex, the bleachers are moving along very well and should be ready for the Ledyard home game. That's the goal in early October. So progress is being made in the city. It's not all gloom and doom as we might get from some of our media outlets. But in any event, I would like to welcome again Jim Stidfole. Jim, you're a new resident, a relatively new resident of New London. You and your wife Sherry have moved into Harbor Towers.
Absolutely. People say, because we lived on Inner Smiths Cove out in Quaker Hill, and we were there for 34 years. People say, don't you miss the Cove and all that sort of stuff? And it's like, no. We're on the 9th floor of Harbor Towers.
That's the top floor, correct?
That is the top floor. And so we have 3 windows that face Long Island Sound and 2 that face up the river. So we get the sun coming up every morning. We see some spectacular sunrises and some really interesting things. The last few days there have been these really heavy fogs, but just on the river. And so when the sun comes up, there's this block of fog. You can't see EB or Pfizer's. I mean, it's just opaque over there. But the sun comes over the top and underneath and bounces off the river and comes up. It's just gorgeous. And we get to look down on the seagulls instead of having them dump on us from above. It's really kind of cool. But, we've been involved in downtown New London for so long. There are probably half the people around who think that we've always lived in New London. And I can walk now to the Hygienic. I can walk to my studio and up on Meridian Street. One of the benefits is that our grocery bill has dropped like a rock. One of the detriments is that our restaurant bill has gone through the roof.
Well, it's interesting you mention that, because I do see you and Sherry walking in the downtown area often.
Oh yeah, and pick up trash. When we walk, we pick up trash. That's the thing. I hope this isn't screwing up Public Works, but we pick up trash and put them in the trash barrels, and it's really funny to have people say, "What were you doing walking around with all that garbage in your hands?" And it's like, well, we're walking. Some doofus has just thrown something out the window or whatever. Well, we pick it up and take it to a trash barrel, and it strikes me that that's what people ought to do. If you're walking down the street and there's a trash bag or a Frito bag or a coffee cup or something, pick it up. It's another 20 steps. Put it in a trash barrel, and instead of just leaving it there. And so we walk. And
it's one of the benefits of living downtown.
Oh yeah, love it. And there's so many good restaurants. Oh my God, it's just we're both now retired, and we've got to sit down one of these days and figure out a budget, because it's like, okay, how much money are we really spending on eating out? So we may have to edit that a little bit.
Do you have a favorite or favorites, or do you care to divulge?
Oh my God.
Because there are lots of choices.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the closest is Gaspar's, and then you go to Dev's, and then you go down to Chaplin's, and Hot Rods. I love Hot Rods dry wings, but that's my taste. Sherry's not a wing eater, but Northern Indian, I love those two little guys who run that. I mean, what a great place. And it's what I find so interesting is that it is so inexpensive to eat out in New London, even though we spend a ton of money, eating out. I do all the cooking at home. Sherry doesn't like to cook. She likes to wash the dishes, so that's okay. And for me, cooking is playtime. So I love to cook. I figure if I've got a third of the ingredients in a recipe, I can probably fake the rest. And sometimes the only third is the spices. So it's like, well, what's in the refrigerator? But there are so many good places to eat, and so many places that we want to support, that it's really hard. And we're down to me cooking only one night a week.
Do you venture across the street to Jasmine Thai or the Neon Chicken?
Yep, we have done both, and it was interesting. I thought that Rod's Place, which is right next to Harbor Towers, was going to go to another Thai restaurant from Mystic, and then I don't know why that fell through, but it's
he
back
ran
on the
two
market.
different restaurants in there, and they
did.
had a tough time.
Yeah, well,
because he's
but
famously successful
with
further
Hot
down,
Rods.
yeah.
And there's Mikasa, which is right on Golden Street, across from the backyard of Hajanic. And we just ate there the other night, and that was wonderful. And if you're into margaritas, their frozen margaritas are as good as there are. So.
Now, do you do the coffee shops as well? I mean, you've got one right in your building there with the Bean and Leaf
Right,
relocating, and
Bean and Leaf.
Washington Street Coffee House.
That's where I meet with all of my videographers and sound people for a film that I'm directing and producing. So that's the best place for meetings. And when I direct a theater piece for Hygienic Theater Works, that's where I meet with my directors and playwrights. So, oh yeah.
And Muddy Waters. I mean, there's so many different places to try.
It is, and Sherry does. She's got the Show on Acoustic Music Society, which she helped create, and they do fundraisers for homeless. And their next one is going to be at Dixon's. I don't remember exactly the date, but at that point, I'm just her roadie. 56 years in theater. I take direction from women. She says, James, can you carry this and can you carry that? And we're walking down. It's like, fine, that's what I do. I'm a roadie.
So what else do you like about Harbor Towers and the urban living? I mean, you've mentioned the views of the water. Do you also get a view of New London looking back, or does your unit not offer that view?
We only look south and east because we're on the corner on the
Okay.
9th floor. So we don't get sunsets. But one of the interesting things is that we've never had a television set. I mean, since 1966 when we got married, we've never had a television set.
Now you have a
But
theater in the building.
there is a theater. It's a 16-seat stadium seating theater. You just go in, sign up, we were given, as part of Sherry's retirement, a DVD of Mamma Mia, and we went out. The two of us just laughed all night long, and so we want to have some, in-house, video parties and that sort of stuff. There's a fitness room there, which I haven't used yet, and Sherry's about to start. There's a lap pool. It's only about 3 feet deep, but you can turn it on so it sends,
A little resistance. So
yeah, so you can swim against it. There's the patio with all kinds of grills and smokers and all that sort of stuff out there. There are times when, I'm on the board of Hygienic, and have been for, I can't even tell you how many years. But I sign up and, if the Hygienic is not available, we have, our board meetings there. And it's a great place. It's just like a big living room. And plus it's indoor parking.
It's one of the things that a couple of things that I like, and I don't live in the building, but just as a resident, is that you have the parking self-contained, with
Right.
the building. And I think that's a real asset for the people who live there and for the building itself.
Oh, absolutely. Now, each of the units only gets one dedicated parking space. So when we first moved in, we had 4 cars. So we had Sherry's 52 MG, my 1960 Buick, which had been our son's, and then my truck, because I can't function without a pickup truck. I got to have that full-size bed because I do so much theater stuff. And Sherry's got her Prius. So we finally sold the MG, and then a couple of months ago I sold to Ray the 60 Buick. And so I parked down on the first level, which isn't gated, but everything in the second and third levels, that's all gated, so it's totally protected. And it's just, I can't say enough about living there. It's just been fabulous. And when we first got the unit, they actually traded for our house in Quaker Hill.
Okay. They market that
Yeah.
they'll buy your house.
And I think we were the first to be traded, and we were like number 8 in the building.
What's the occupancy now? Do you know?
30 plus. I mean, there are 52 units in all. And Tony, a couple of weeks ago just closed on 3 units. So it's incrementing up. But I mean, if you sell a house or a condo every 45 days, you're doing pretty good in this market.
Yes.
And one of the things Tony said was, Stidfole, your hair in here is one of my best advertisers. So it's like, okay. But it's just access to downtown. I mean, there is so much going on. 25 years ago, I was the arts and entertainment editor for the Norwich Bulletin. And I was the club critic and the music critic and the theater critic. And you could go out, I mean, there were clubs all over. Rudy's Pier 1, the LNG, all over the place. You could, just go out and out and out and see bands. And then it all died away. And now it's back, so that there's so much going on downtown that you can go out 6 nights a week, you can't see it all.